Hello, my dear students. Welcome to my lecture on different classes of motor duty. So, in the last class, on the last lecture, we were discussing on different types of motor duty. We have discussed on the short time motor duty and the long time motor duty. So, here we will discuss today intermittent periodic duty. So, what is intermittent periodic duty? So, here the motor operates for some time and then there is a rest period. So in both the cases, the time is sufficient to raise the temperature to the steady state value or cool off to the ambient temperature. So the time is sufficient to raise the temperature and the steady state value or cool off to an ambient temperature. So this is seen at press and drilling machine drives. So let us see the waveforms. So you see the motor takes time to go the temperature rise. So this is the torque profile, this is the load torque profile. So this is the rise time and this is the fall time. So you see that the rise of temperature when load torque is there, it goes up to this particular instant, that is theta 1. So let this be theta 2. So from theta 2 to theta 1 it takes some time and again it falls to the ambient temperature after some time. So it is a more or less, you can say, a balanced temperature profile as well as a balanced torque profile. The idle time is not that much high, even the idle time is not that much low. It is rather a balanced rise time and fall time, you can say, operating duty. So the next is intermittent periodic duty with starting. So in this type of duty there is a period of starting which cannot be ignored and there is a heat loss at that time. After that there is a running period at the rest period which are not adequate to attain the steady state temperature. So this type of motor duty is used in metal cutting, drilling tool drives, mine hoist. So let us see the profile. So you see that the starting is for quite some time, then followed by running and then for a period of rest, and again it is running for some time and then for rest. So you see that the starting phase occurs for a small bit of time. If we compare the entire starting time Ts, it persists for T1, the starting interval. So again the torque falls for a particular instant and again the cooling time is not that much high. So the temperature rise is from, say, theta 2 to theta 1 during the starting phenomenon, and after some point of time what is happening, the temperature falls to theta 3 and again it falls to this value which is theta 2. So you see there are different temperature profile in one duty cycle and that occurs due to intermittent starting. Next comes the intermittent periodic duty with starting and braking. So in these types of drives the heat loss during starting and braking cannot be ignored. So the corresponding periods are starting period, operating period, braking period and resting period. So there are intermittent operations occurring between one duty cycle. So starting period is there, operating period is there, braking period is there, and resting period is there, and this goes on repeating. So the heat laws during the starting and braking, they cannot be ignored. So now you see over here. So this is the starting torque. This is the running torque. This is the braking torque, which is reverse, obviously, and this is the idle torque, that is 0. So the idle torque, that means 0, that means no torque, tau equal to 0. So for braking, some negative torque has to be there. So you see there is a gradual drop in the torque profile, and obviously here you will see there is a rise in the temperature. The rise of temperature will be slower, and since the torque has become negative, there will be a cooling time from here to here, like this. So it is actually long period of heating followed by long period of cooling. So the next comes continuous duty with intermittent periodic loading. So in this type of motor duty, everything is same as the periodic duty, but there is no load running period occurs instead of the rest period. So pressing, cutting are the examples of this system. So in this type of motor duty, everything is same as the periodic duty, but there is no load running occurs, instead rest period. So let us see how the torque profile looks like. So the next duty is the continuous duty with starting and braking. So it is also period of starting, running and braking, and there is no resting period. The main drive of a blooming mill is an example. Next come continuous duty with periodic speed changes. In this type of motor duty, there are different running periods at different loads and speeds, but there is no resting period, and all the periods are too short to attain steady state temperatures. So because you see, when there is a transience in the torque, that means when the torque changes from one value to another value followed by an idle time, so these times are very short, so it does not have enough time to get the or attain the steady state temperatures. Now there is something called load equalization. So load equalization is the process of smoothing of the fluctuating load. The fluctuating load draws heavy current from the supply during the peak interval and also cause a large voltage drop in the system due to the equipment which may get damaged. So you see what is happening. As the load increases, the tendency of the motor is to draw larger and larger value of the current. So it may happen that when the load is very high, the value of the current is so much that it may burn the windings or it may damage the windings, which is never desirable. So in load equalization, the energy which is stored at light load, and this energy is utilized when the peak load occurs. So the energy which is stored during the light load, and this energy is utilized when the peak load occurs. Thus the electric power from the supply remains constant. So how this can be attained? Suppose the torque is changing like this. So now somehow I can make the speed inversely variable so that the torque and the product of tau and omega is same. That means the torque is increasing and accordingly the speed is decreasing. So what is the product of torque and omega? That is equal to power. So if torque is increasing and speed is decreasing, the power which is drawn by the motor, it is constant. So this is known as a constant load, or the constant power is drawn from the supply at all times, whether you have a large peak or you have a light load, it does not matter. So a constant power will be drawn, and this can be done by mounting a flywheel in the rotor, and this process is called load equalization. Actually, the fluctuating load fluctuation actually mostly occurs in some of the drives. For example, in a pressing mill, a large torque is required for a very short duration of the time. So if we see the torque profile, with respect to time, you will see so you see that the torque is very high but for very short period of time. So during such time, what will happen? There will be a huge current suddenly drawn by the machine, and then the current will suddenly fall. Again there will be a huge current drawn by the machine and the current will fall. So what will happen? There will be a sudden delta I change. This delta I will be very large, and what will happen? This will overstress the conductor and it will burn the conductor. So some of the other examples are rolling mill, reciprocating pump, planing machines, electric hammer, etc. That means during the active time the load torque is very very high, and for these cases load equalization is required. So in electrical drives, the load fluctuation occurs in the wide range. For supplying the peak torque demand to the electric drives, the motor should have high ratings, and also the motor will draw pulsed current from the supply. The motor has to draw pulsed current from the supply. The amplitude of the pulse current gives rise to a line voltage fluctuation which is affected by the other load connected line. So suppose, let us take the help of a network. So suppose there is an industry where there are some motors connected like this. There are some other connected load as well. Like this. So there are 5 loads, and suppose this particular load suddenly there is a high load torque. So what will happen? From the power supply, which is Vs, a sudden current will be drawn which is very high. So what will happen? This Vs minus IR, this will be very very high. So the output voltage V0, that will suddenly fall, and this will be subjected to rest of the loads. So there is a sudden line voltage fluctuation, that this will affect this load, all the remaining loads. So this fluctuation is load, it is definitely a requirement for the industry, because this is the load pattern, but as it is affecting all the other loads connected into the system, it is not desirable. It should not happen. So for that, load equalization is required. So as I was saying, the problem of load fluctuation can be overcome by using a flywheel. The flywheel is mounted on a motor shaft in non-reversible drives. So flywheel, actually what happens, suppose let the moment of inertia of the rotor be j. So if I add a flywheel whose inertia is jfw, what will happen? The overall rotor inertia that will increase. And what will happen? This sudden change in speed will be avoided. If the inertia is high, the sudden change in the load, it cannot affect the motor speed because the inertia is very high. This torque change will also be affected as the result of the high inertia, because tau m is equal to tau L plus j omega m dot. That is the first order derivative. So you can see this motor torque it is a function of tau L, this j and this omega m dot. So that means if I suddenly change this or increase this j, what will happen? The motor will require high torque. If the load is very high, it will be able to resist that excess load. In variable speed and a reversible drive, when reversal is required, a flywheel cannot be mounted on the motor shaft, as it will decrease the transient time of the drive. So you see there is a clockwise movement followed by a sudden anti-clockwise movement, and in those cases, if you increase the moment of inertia, that is j, suddenly, it will not be desirable. So you have to increase the moment of inertia for a non-reversible drive, not for a reversible drive. So for the other types of drives which needs to be reversed, you just cannot increase the value of j. So this is the process of load equalization. So you see the load fluctuation has to be avoided. Why? In order to ensure the smooth operation of the rest of the machines connected to the system, and also to ensure that no high current should flow through the conductors of the concerned machine or the concerned drive, because excess current may damage the armature windings of the machine. So we have to protect the machine. Number one, protection is number one. And number two is smooth operation. Of other connected loads. So these two requirements have to be satisfied. So you have to ensure the safety of the machines as well as smooth operation of the rest of the machines, and you have to develop this strategy depending on the type of the machine. So all these key points you have to remember. There are some problems or some numericals that needs to be practiced on load equalization. They are easy problems, they are not much difficult, and I will show you these problems, how to solve them in the upcoming lectures. And not only for load equalization, we will solve some numerical problems on the rest of the lectures, or what lectures we have already covered so far. So we will stop here for today. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.